Okay, so this is an introduction to Bryce, which is a three-dimensional landscape program that they have used to make different video games. So that's the kind of environment we're looking at. Here is your workspace here, and up here is your thumbnail sketch. To create something, you need to be on Create. To change it or edit it, you have to be on Edit. And Sky and Fog is obviously for Sky and Fog. So create something is pretty easy. We click on a mountain shows up. You want to watch it in your preview. You can go down here and hit the fast preview mode and you can render it quick, but you don't want to spend too much of your class time rendering your projects. You want to use what you can by the information from up here. We can click on water and water shows up. If I wanted a tree, I click on a tree and it shows up. So if I want to change any of these things, I'm going to go to Edit. This makes things bigger. So I'm going to make my mountain bigger, and I'm going to move it over to the side. And maybe I'll grab my tree and put the tree on the mountain. Now the tree is actually behind the mountain, so this actually moves things. So I'm going to move it forward, and when I do this, I have to move my mouse from right to left, not up to down. So now the tree is in front, but it's way too big, so I'm going to shrink the tree. Now I have a tree pretty much on a mountain. I can also, under Edit, change the skin. So this was a wire frame, and then these are skins that I can put on it. So I could make it an iceberg if I wanted to, with a tree on it. If I hit check, it will be okay. It will apply it. If I hit X, it will not apply it. So I hit the check. I now have a tree, a mountain, water, and sky. Now, I might also want to create some other things. So if I go to this little arrow under Create, it has other things I can put in there. So I've got glasses and columns. You've got staircases and tornadoes, different pre-made mountains. You've got your skull mountains. You've got your pre-made river valleys. Pass is for animation, so don't work with that. Different rocks like kryptonite, and I would just hit that and then it would show up in here, and then I can edit it and move it as needed. Finally, in sky and fog, if I change my sky, it's going to change pretty much everything going on around it. So this is going to be a very green sky, which means everything around here is going to turn very green colored. To make it stop doing the ray tracing or the rendering, I'm going to click this little thing right here. Click it again, I'm back to my wire frame. You might want to move my rock up to the foreground. Maybe make it a little bit bigger. And create one more mountain and move it into the background. So I have background, foreground, and middle ground. You want to actually move your things back and forth. You don't want to just make things bigger or smaller. So taller mountain kind of in the background. And so here is my basic Bryce landscape. Maybe I want to put, for a final touch, a spaceship. And obviously that's going to be too big, so I'm going to shrink it. And put some metal on it, make it out of metal. Maybe a silver. And the thing that's cool about Bryce is that it figures out all of your lighting for you. It figures out the time of day, if there's haze, how light reflects off of the spaceship, how it reflects in the water. All that stuff it figures out for you, so you don't have to figure it out. You can change on sky and fog whether or not it's day or night. So now it's nighttime. Turn it back to day. You can also change where your sun position is. And when you do that, it changes all the shadows and things in your landscape. And that is a quick introduction to Bryce. I want you, as much as possible, don't play with these things. These change your camera angles, and if you play with them too much, you could get completely lost in space and not be able to find your way back again. So as much as possible, let's not, at least in the beginning, play with your camera angle.